everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the
GEEK BUDDIES. Hey! What was that? Oh, buddies. It's fine. Carry on about your business.
There it is. But we are here on a Friday with our end of the week show, here to talk about all things that are going on in the world of entertainment. And this show is a special show because just about every topic is essentially a main topic. So because we had so much to discuss and dive into, we're going to talk a little bit of the new trailers, definitely that Supergirl trailer. We're going to talk some Hunger Game news. We're going to talk some Disney, OpenAI, controversial news. And we're going to talk about the Batman Part 2 and all the news that broke this week as well, and whatever else pops up in our discussions. But let's introduce ourselves first for those who might be new to the show. I am John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the Geek Buddies.
I am Michael Vogel, writer and producer of animated TV shows, movies, and video games.
And this is Shannon McClung. I'm an animation writer and a television and feature film actor. And I was wrong last time I was on that I told you all about The Pit. That first season is re-airing every Monday. Right. So they are six episodes in. I won't be on next week's. I'll be on the week after.
Oh my God.
You doing all right there, buddy?
I'm white knuckling it by my fingernails.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 10-episode series, so you thought they were going to show it for 10 nights in a row? Is that what your pitch was?
No, it's 15. I
15.
thought they were doing three a night all in 1 week, but it turns out they're doing 3 every Monday for 5 weeks. Gotcha. Which makes more sense because the new season drops on the first episode premieres on January 8th.
That's true.
And who knows if someone will be back? I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
We will see. We will see. But we had so much to get into, as I said here, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it, and let's definitely talk about the first thing, and that is the Supergirl trailer. That dropped yesterday. A lot of reactions to, as we're recording this, a lot of reactions from people to the Supergirl trailer. We got ourselves some nice shots of Kara using her power, shots in the uniform. We got some possible terraforming going on here, or whatever that is. We had shots of Lobo. Jason Momoa, Matthias Schoenaerts as the villain in this one as well. And a lot of people felt this was a little bit of maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. And we even had Crypto peeing on the newspaper with Superman on the cover. So a lot in this one. Reactions have been quite strong both ways. So it's an interesting conversation to have here as we walk into this. So Michael, as our resident Superman fan, your thoughts on this trailer?
Well, as the resident Superman fan, that is not terraforming. That is Argo City. That is the city that escaped the explosion of Krypton that Kara Zor-El and her dad were on, which is why Kara had a much shittier time watching the destruction of Krypton and her people than little baby Clark did. It's interesting. I am neither as excited as some people are by this trailer, nor am I as angry as some people are by this trailer. But I think both sides have valid points to bring up. Look, here, first of all, the Guardians of the Galaxy-ness of the trailer, you gotta just, like, that's kind of one of the big issues here. And on the one hand, the story that's being adapted is Kara Zor-El in space dealing with a bunch of wacky aliens, and there's definitely an element of a Guardians-like vibe to it.
Yes.
That being said, it doesn't mean that you have to shoot it with sets that look like they came right off the Guardians of the Galaxy set. Like, I do think that from an art direction standpoint, it may be James Gunn. I know he's not the director, but like, they're not doing themselves any favor by making it look as Guardians-esque as it does. I also wonder, look, I think the song that they used was a great song for the trailer. It's a great vibe, but a big needle drop song in a trailer also makes it feel very Guardians-like. And had they maybe like relied on score, like, I think there's ways, like, I think the story is good. And I think there's a lot to be excited about. But there are those elements that I think those are the things that kind of gave me pause. I don't care about Crypto peeing on the paper. I don't know why people are getting so upset about Crypto peeing on a newspaper. But I do think people who are like, this looks just like Guardians, needle drop music, the sets look the same, like, they're not wrong. And I think that's a valid criticism. So that's like my negative. Positive, I think she is nailing the role just from what I'm seeing in the trailer. Like, I think from a performance standpoint, she's nailing it. And the bits of dialogue that we do get in the trailer really, to me, as someone who this comic book, Woman of Tomorrow, is probably one of my favorite comic books of the past decade.
Yeah.
Really kind of gets to, even though the trailer is like fun and silly and you've got like the Call Me song going on, when the girl says about the other girl talks about Krypton being destroyed, and Supergirl and Kara says Krypton wasn't destroyed in a day, the gods are not that kind, which is actually a direct quote from the comic. Or the thing that everybody's putting on Twitter right now, the whole, my brother sees, Superman sees the best in everybody, I see the truth. That really does get to what I think is going to be good about this movie. Like, I hope that when I see it, the Guardians of the Galaxy-ness of the art direction doesn't detract from the fact that I think they're going to tell a really interesting story. That what I think that the Supergirl comic did well, and I think what they are trying to do here is, Supergirl is not just Superman in a skirt.
Right.
She's not the same character that he is. At times in the comics, she has been. But when you really get into what this story does, this is the story about someone where Superman looks at the world the way he does because he grew up in Kansas and believes the best in everybody. Kara Zor-El had a very traumatic life and does not necessarily believe that there's good in everything. And her kind of working out the kind of hero she wants to be is a really different story than I think a lot of people are expecting. So I'm mostly excited, but the James Gunn-ness was definitely a detraction for me.
Okay. Shannon McClung, your thoughts on this trailer? Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? Are you in Michael's camp or a little bit more excited or not excited?
No, I'm kind of with Vogel. The trailer finished and I'm like, man, that was a lot of fun. It is very similar. Like, if you were to take her out and put those scenes into a Guardians trailer, it would have fit seamlessly. And it's one of those things that the whole idea of a lived-in sci-fi universe, that kind of really started with the first Star Wars, that like you could see the grease, you could see the rivets, and James Gunn came along and plus that with Guardians, where it's like we're adding neon lights and rock and roll to it. But it looks like that Star Wars universe. As of this point, it doesn't look like Supergirl has added anything to that aesthetic. And that's okay, because I mean, there's a reason it worked. But in terms of the comparisons, yes, they are inescapable. I don't know why Crypto's peeing on Clark. I don't think that the dog really gets that. Hey, there's the picture of that guy that I was living with for a little while. But I also just thought the shot looked weird. Like, if you're gonna show him pee, show the whole dog pee rather than this weird kind of leg kind of come up. Getting to see, I mean, agree on Millie Alcock. I mean, I think what we get of her is great. And it seems like what Eve Ridley is bringing to Ruthie, who is also from the Woman of Tomorrow books series, the relationship seems like that's what the relationship is from that book. And that relationship is one of the most intriguing parts of that story. The brief glimpse that we get of Jason Momoa as Lobo, fantastic. I mean, again, we all just sort of assumed he doesn't have to do much acting with this one. That this is just kind of Momoaing, but just the quick visual that we get, him chomping on that cigar. I mean, this looks like a lot of fun. The comparisons to Guardians, again, they are inescapable. Is this trailer going to get people super jazzed? I don't know. I mean, it seems to be not like wholly divisive. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of vitriol out for it, but there is sort of a been there, done that to it. But I do agree with Vogel, like the needle drop. Yeah, I mean, you're already battling comparisons to this other very successful franchise. My guess is that second trailer, we will get a score heavy trailer. But flash forward 3 months when I'm eating my words, but I sound better.
Well, I clearly loved it more than you guys did. I mean, my reaction's up there if people want to watch it. I had such a great time with this. Really did. From top to bottom. I didn't care about the Guardians yet. I don't give a shit. It's a good franchise. Those 3 movies are a lot of fun. So evoking those 3 movies isn't an issue for me. If you can have 10 Jurassic Park movies that are literally the same goddamn movie, or 10 Transformers movies, or 10 Fast and Furious movies are essentially the same. You can have something in the Superman saga that has the same kind of energy as something that people enjoyed in the past. So I got no problem with that. I got it immediately. Obviously, if you see my reaction, I'm like, oh, that's Guardian stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
And I like the needle drop, but I like the energy. I like the rebelliousness, the sassiness that don't fuck with me. And of course, that line is my line, Michael. Absolutely. You know, Vogel sees the good in people. I see the truth. I love that thing as a line for me. Like, that was my mantra, and I loved it. And I like the energy here, honestly. And you can tell this is probably going to be a journey for her, right? Of course, based on the book, what have you, but she's dealing with the trauma of Krypton. And this journey she goes on is, in essence, a journey that she chooses to go on, but it evokes the stuff that she's experienced. So she's having to confront the trauma. So my feeling is that by the end, she'll be a little bit of a better, she'll have put those things to bed to a degree. And it'll be interesting to see how Millie plays the arc of the character by the end of the movie. But I loved her in this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So perfect for it. So perfect for it. So it's a great casting. If it was Gunn or anyone else who suggested her, like, you deserve a lot of credit for picking her out. And the way she stepped up to the plate to embrace this role, I think is great as well. Perfect timing on her age, perfect timing on her look, and she nailed it. I think Momoa looks fantastic. I'm very smart to keep him to a limited amount, because less is more here in this situation. So we'll see what he does. But as you guys have pointed out some criticisms, here's mine. I was not feeling this at all. This looks like something out of Hellraiser or some leather fantasy from the Wachowskis. To me, it wasn't quite what I was looking for in a villain in this trailer. So that's the only real negative thing. But the needle drop didn't bother me. The Guardians of the Galaxy, I just had so much fun with this, and I couldn't wait to watch it. So it reminded me a lot of Across the Spider-Verse, that kind of young, energetic, rebellious energy. And I appreciated this movie.
Yeah, you're not like, it's in the comic book, the villain Krem kind of just looks like a dude. Like, he's just like a big barbarian dude with a beard. He looks like just like a human. So I get that they're trying to go for someone else. Like, that one, I'm sort of like we'll see.
Yeah,
it wasn't what I was expecting, but that's really just depending on the performance. If that dude's awesome, however he looks, I don't really care. Right. I do think, though, I mean, I think, you know, to you guys' point about the divisiveness of the trailer on Twitter, this is an example of nerds over nerding, because I did have 3 people text me yesterday who are not geeky people.
Yeah.
And I get texts all the time from non-geeky people, because I am a very big geek. And all 3 of them were like, that Supergirl movie looks good. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, so I do think you're right. Like, look, we go through Twitter, and we are all watching all the other YouTube streamers talking about it, and we're talking about it. And we get into these deep discussions about James Gunn, you know, he's into like kicking Superman in the balls and dogs peeing, and I don't love that. And it's too much like Guardians, and you could have had different choices with the art direction, which I do believe is true. But we get into the weeds on all of these things. Yeah. And I do think that Supergirl being something different like this, and John's not wrong, evoking Guardians of the Galaxy, which most average moviegoers like, those things might work in its favor. Like, I do think this may have that, this connects with audiences outside of the geekosphere, whereas the geekosphere is going to fight. Like, I mean, already, and then the right-wing geekosphere, I've seen so many posts in the past 24 hours. Supergirl is supposed to stand for truth, justice, in the American way. And who is this drunk? They're destroying our, I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up.
Agreed. Find your fucking dick. Jesus Christ. Give me a break with that nonsense. I agree 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, good faith criticism, no problem with it. Grifting criticism, that's where the issue, on both sides, by the way, on both sides. So anyone who's too overly positive and thinks it can't be criticized, I think that's ridiculous as well. So yeah, I think somewhere in the middle. And Michael, I hear you. And I think that's the thing that they're trying to go for. They know the nerds are going to fight and maybe show up because
that's all nerds do.
Exactly. But the casuals is who they want to bring into the tent. And I think the young people, the people who are of that alpha generation, they want to bring them into the tent to watch this movie. And I think Millie at her age and the energy of this movie, if it's a good movie, will get people to come and watch it. And Gillespie is a fantastic director. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot of positive.
And you're not wrong. There is, I mean, look, a very different context, and the movie's about a different thing, but a 23-year-old celebrating their birthday, saying this is going to be the best year ever.
Right.
It's a low bar. Things have been pretty shitty for my life. Like, there's a lot of 23-year-olds out there right now that feel the same way. Their planet didn't explode, but Jesus, when you look at the past decade of our lives. So I do think you're right. I think there's that opportunity too, but it is, I think that's what's bugging me as I've been looking at everything, is because I've had both sides of it. I've had the people that were like, I loved it. I don't know why anybody would not love this trailer. And then I have the people that are like, this is a garbage trailer. Superhero movies have fallen so far. This is just distressing. And I'm like, yeah, it does look like Guardians. And I think it didn't have to. Like, I don't love that. I don't love certain things, but also I love this story. And it looks like this is telling the story that I want to see. So I would say my guess is, I'm going to make a bold claim right now, even despite my criticisms.
Okay.
I think I'm going to like this movie better than I like Superman.
Wow.
I think.
Statement.
Like, look, I think Superman got so much right, and I really enjoy it. And I think, like, I love David Cornsweet. I love Rachel Brosnahan. And there's a lot to love about Superman. And there's criticisms that people have that I think are valid. But if they get this story right, I think this is going to be the one that you're like, good. Superman was great, but this was the thing, which would be a wild thing to have a Supergirl movie that outperforms a Superman movie.
What's the best way to quiet critics is to come out with a great movie. And if this movie comes out and it's fantastic, no one's going to give a shit about the Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic if it nails it, if it nails the movie, you know? So we will see. We will see. That comes out on June 26th of next year in 2026. Craziness. Let's move on to this nonsense. All right. So a Street Fighter teaser trailer dropped and we had quite it's less than a minute. We had Cody Rhodes with that damn haircut of his. We had some great shots of these other characters. Now, full disclosure, I shouldn't even be leading this because I am not a Street Fighter person. This is more the realm of my two 90s kids friends here on the show. So, Mike, Shannon, I'll go to you first. I went to Michael and Supergirl. Did this teaser work for you? Is this your jam? And are you a fan of what they showed here in this trailer?
So in the realm of arcade games, I had not been going to the local arcade when Street Fighter was huge. I got there right as Mortal Kombat got out. So I've always had more of an affinity for Mortal Kombat, and I'm being very liberal with my use of the word affinity. It's like, oh yeah, it's fun. I like the X-Men game. I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. But I mean, Street Fighter, when that first movie came out with Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile and Raul Julia, who was an incredible M. Bison, it's like, it makes sense that they want to have another crack, another swing at this franchise. And the Legend of Chun-Li with Kristen Krug that didn't quite foot the bill.
Wow.
The cast that they have assembled, I mean, again, I thought the teaser was ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm like, this could be a lot of fun. Like, this is definitely go in with a couple of drinks in your movie. But Andrew Koji as Ken, as Ryu, Noah Centineo as Ken, David Dastmalchian as M. Bison. I thought that was one of the strangest castings.
Oh yeah.
Now, because he's never really played an active physical type. He's always kind of the smart guy. But seeing him in real life, like he goes to a coffee shop that I go to, he's quite tall. And I'm like, oh boy, I thought you were going to be like my size. But at the same time, I mean, seriously.
I thought you were going to be my size. It's my favorite thing you've said in the past 18 weeks.
I thought you were going to be a little guy. The movie looks just absolutely nuts. The fact that they're committing to that, to that wig for Cody Rhodes. And the fact that they're holding back on Momoa's Blanca, which if you saw the original Street Fighter movie, they got nowhere to go but up. I thought it was ridiculous, but also this seems like it would be a perfect kind of like dude night movie.
Probably. Here are some of the pictures of the actors and the characters that they're playing. See Andrew Schultz there at the bottom, 50 Cent, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, all these people, like Andrew Koji, as Shannon was mentioning. Michael, your thoughts on this trailer, 55-second trailer, your thoughts on this teaser?
So here, am I more excited for Supergirl? Of course. But what was interesting about these two trailers is this sort of really illustrated the fact that the Supergirl, the art direction of the Supergirl movie is very been there, done that. Like, I like everything about the Supergirl trailer, but as everybody is saying, and we just said, you're like, yeah, it looks like Guardians. Like that's the Guardian set. It could basically be the Guardian set. This trailer was like, okay, well, this is very specifically what it is. Like the art direction is so specific, and I think it's smart. Like Street Fighter is a beloved brand. I didn't play it in the arcade. I just had the Nintendo game. I played it like all day long. But it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And just like with the Mortal Kombat movies, if you try and go, let's make this a grounded, real version of Street Fighter, you're gonna have a piece of shit movie.
Fair.
And so going just all the way into the ridiculousness of it is smart, I think. And then I think what's smart is they're going for this like 1970s Hong Kong, like kung fu, like there's a very specific vibe they're going for with the score, with the music, with the shots, like with the way the camera's moving. So it's not just a let's be crazy. It's crazy with a very specific artistic vision behind it. Like they're going for a vibe that is from classic cinema, from kung fu films. And so the trailer, I think, is very, very successful. Yeah. Like I probably think the trailer is better than you two think the trailer is. Now, does that mean the movie's going to be good? No, but if the movie delivers on what this 1 minute delivers, and it's just balls to the wall, a bunch of people running around trying to kill each other with neon lights and amazing action choreography, like it could be the badass movie of October.
I think you make an excellent point about the aesthetic. It's very clear that they have made a decision on how this movie is going to look. It is unique in its approach. It's very video game-ish, while also, as you said, Michael, evoking some of the Hong Kong stuff from back in the 1970s. And not even the best of it, to be honest with you. But
but there's something pulpy, but like that's actually even the point. It's pulpy and kind of just like grungy in a way that I'm like, I'm digging this.
Yeah. And let me tell you what's smart about this. When you cast a bunch of people that aren't the strongest actors, the best way to hide them is to create this cheesy, aesthetic, pulpy type approach to it, because you're not expecting them to deliver, as you said.
You're not wrong.
Ground-based, realistic Street Fighter. The best way is just to make it fantastical and make it over the top. Cody Rhodes, it's so over the top in this. Roman Reigns has almost no acting experience other than doing WWE stuff. And then you've got people like Olivier Richter's, who's done some stuff. Centeneo's a good actor, but 50 Cent, let's not listen. No offense, man. 50 ain't the best of actors, right? But you've got Des Malcho, and you've got Kyle Mooney in this, and then you've got someone. Oh yeah, and you've got Momoa in this. So you've got a strong base of actors who know what they're doing.
Which category does Momoa go in?
And Momoa, I mean, I like Momoa. I'll say this. He's made a lot out of nothing. I tell you this, he's made a lot.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Millions of dollars out of nothing. And it's not an accident that they put him in the Supergirl movie. But Orville Peck, not known to be an actor. He's a fantastic country singer, but he's not known to be an actor. So the way you hide them is to do something like this. So it's smart. Like, does it work for me? No, but I think it's smart. Yes.
But you even go through this cast.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the ridiculousness of the cast is not a bug, it's the feature.
It's 100%. That's what I think.
Like Jason Momoa, Andrew Koji, 50 Cent, Orville Peck. You're like, what the fuck is this movie?
Andrew Schultz. Yeah.
But in a way that like, there was like when they first started announcing the casting for this movie, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's going to be another piece of shit Street Fighter movie. And then I watched this trailer and I was like,
yeah,
this may or may not work, but they might know what they're doing.
God help us.
Like I think they understood the assignment.
Yeah. And
they're like, okay, this is what you want. And I was like, I'll be goddamn, they might do it. This son of a bitches might do it.
We'll see. It's IMDb listed as expected on October 16th, 2026. So we'll see if that really happens. Let's move on to something off of Netflix. Let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. What about this Avatar Season 2 trailer? Michael, your thoughts on this? Only a minute and a half, and we end with a pretty powerful moment about the Earth and going through the Earth. So as someone who has not watched it, I imagine that means something really important to the Avatar world. So your thoughts on this trailer? Oh, wow. Okay.
I think, look, the live action season 1 of the live action Avatar on Netflix, it had nowhere to go but up because of the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar.
That's true.
And it did get a lot of things right. And there was something enjoyable about watching beloved characters in a beloved story brought to life. That being said, some of the ways it was brought to life with some of the effects and some of the wigs and some of the moments, like it didn't, I don't think it rose to its source material at the end of the day. I didn't leave that going, fuck, that was great. And so getting a season 2, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, maybe 10 times all the way through. Like I every year or so, I just reach a point where I'm like, all right, it's time to do it again. And I start and I go all the way through Avatar, I go all the way through Korra. So I know the story really well. I love the story. So am I gonna watch this? Of course.
Yeah.
But even watching this trailer with Toph being revealed, who is an earthbender, to your point about the earth stuff.
At the end, yeah.
Toph, a fan favorite character, someone everyone's really excited to see. And even seeing Toph in the trailer, I sort of like, rather than going, I'm super excited, I feel like myself like bracing. I was like, all right, let's see what they do. Oh, it's gonna be rough. Like I just feel like I'm in for a bumpy ride, which is not the feeling you want when you're gonna watch something that is like is really beloved. And I think that, and look, I don't think that it's the team behind Avatar specifically. And I have heard from people who are in the know that season 2 is stronger than season 1. That I've heard that some of the performances were really strong. I've heard that they did a lot more practical sets and that it looks more beautiful. So I'm definitely like, I'm willing to go in and say, okay, let's see what they've done with this. But I think, whether it's this or One Piece or Cowboy Bebop, which was a disaster, there's some things in animation that work so, it kind of falls under the same discussion that we have with like the Moana live action or all the Disney live action movies. Is like, there's this desire to be like, there's this beloved thing. Let's make it live action. Let's make it live action. And some things don't always make the transition really well. And I think Avatar is one of them.
Fair. All right, Shannon, your thoughts on this Avatar season 2 trailer? Like I said, only a minute and a half, a minute 20, something like that.
Well, just in terms of the casting from the first season, like I feel like they had more misses than hits. Like you had some very big hits, like Ken Leung. It was outstanding. Daniel Day Kim, we don't get a ton of him, and other than the kind of weird beard that he had spirit gummed onto his face, Daniel Day Kim is a great actor. There's the argument that our main trio, Aang coming out the best, but that our main trio were not as strong. And that's the trio. That's the Harry, Ron, and Hermione of the series. You have to nail those performances. If you're not on board with these kids, then the show just doesn't hold together. Now, maybe in the time in between season 1 and season 2, maybe they have gotten stronger, and that happens. That happens with younger performers. Some people do get better with, you get more experience. And I imagine the conditions under which they were shooting, that you are dealing with a lot of visual effects. It's not always conducive to a natural performance. So if they're getting better, and also they're leaning more into that practical set, that tangible set that they can walk around and that they can feel, maybe that is going to produce, hopefully that is going to produce better results. But I do agree with Vogel in terms of Toph, and because Toph, again, is a beloved character who makes it from one series to the next with Korra. You gotta nail Toph. Like if you don't get this right, the show is already kind of on not solid ground. And again, based off of the first season, I think bracing for it seems like the appropriate reaction. But fingers crossed. Nobody wants the show to be bad. The people that get the most agitated are people that do love the source material.
Yeah. I can't chime in on this one because I haven't seen the source material, but I thought it was fine trailer, but it wasn't like.
I am gonna sit you the fuck down one day. Oh man,
it's not groundbreaking trailer, but it was fine for what I saw in season 1. So I didn't think it was that different. So whether that's good or bad, I don't know. We'll see. Because I kind of liked some elements of season 1 and didn't like other elements of season 1. The acting, as Shannon pointed out, being one of them. But maybe, just maybe, this will be a little bit better, a little more fun to watch. We will see. Yeah, but go ahead, Mike. You want to say one more thing?
It's just, you know, what's interesting with Avatar is, you know, Netflix has the Avatar live action series, and it was very publicly, you know, had the creators of Avatar on the show, and then very publicly did not have the creators of Avatar on the show.
Yeah.
And those guys are over at Nickelodeon and Avatar Studios, and we've got a new Avatar animated series coming out, and we've got a couple Avatar animated features coming out. And I do think it's going to be interesting to see how those are compared to what we're getting with the live action when those do come out.
Right. A good point. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last trailer here. This is 11-second trailer. It was part of an overall rollout from HBO Max, highlighting all the stuff that's coming next year from their streaming service. If it's still around next year, we'll see with all those mergers and stuff. But we got 11 seconds of Lanterns at the teaser trailer here. We got to see more. We got to see a little bit more of Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler in this one. We see Hal Jordan lecturing Jon Stewart about not being ready until the Green Lantern Corps ring says so. He leaps out of the car, leaving John to plummet over a cliff. There's also a shot of them walking into a get-together in the town or what have you. So that's all you got, 11 seconds. So, Shannon, were these 11 seconds enough to titillate your interest in this particular series, or did it feel like Guardians of the Galaxy all over again?
It did not feel like Guardians of the Galaxy at all. Again, 11 seconds isn't really enough to get one titillated. But Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan. That's the thing that gets me. That's the thing that gets me titillated. And hopefully we will be getting more of him than just 11 seconds. But the idea that, you know, John says, you know, he trained for this, he's ready. And Hal puts the ring on the dashboard, jumps out of a truck as it goes careening into a canyon. Yeah, great. Hopefully the show is as exciting as that 11 seconds. We'll see.
Yeah, Mike, your thoughts on these 11 seconds? They work for you, not work for you? What stood out? Anything?
I mean, it looks fine. It looks like exactly what this show. It's a grounded. Like, we didn't see a bunch. There's a bunch of fake trailers going around online where you've got them all suited up and flying to Oa and doing all this stuff, and you're like, that is not what is going to be happening in the show. So, you know, we didn't see any. There was not a hint of a green special effect anywhere to be seen. There was the two of them in the car. There we saw the power ring. He said jumped out, and that was about all she wrote. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. This has nothing to do with the trailer, but Aaron Pierre, when he came on the scene, we were all like, he's great. I've seen him in a few things since, like, he was on this season of The Morning Show. He was in a couple other things, and I'm a little worried about, is this a guy that can carry a franchise? I'm just going to throw that out there now. We'll see. Wow. Nothing in this 11 seconds made me think anything about him one way or the other, but I do think Kyle Chandler has more of the, I mean, he literally jumps out of a moving vehicle. So Kyle Chandler has more of the energy of these 11 seconds than he does.
Yeah, I think all I can judge from the 11 seconds is I like the look of this thing. And as you said, Michael, the grounded nature of it all. This feels a little bit more mature than anything we've seen from DC so far, which I like, and as a change of pace. And Gunn said, you know, not everything's going to be the same and have the same energy to it. So I like that this one feels like an HBO Max show, a little True Detective energy to it as well. So I liked that aesthetic. And I like Kyle jumping out of the fucking truck. Like, figure it out. I kind of like that. That's what Hal Jordan would do. Hal Jordan would absolutely do that to Jon Stewart. So I like that energy. But of course, when a longer trailer comes out, we will see what this is all about. All right, well, let's move on to this big story. Of course, Michael, I'm going to give you first dibs on this one. But yeah, this is a big deal here. Disney yesterday said that it would buy a $1 billion stake in OpenAI and to bring its characters to Sora. A curated selection of videos made with Sora will be available to stream on Disney Plus as part of the 3-year deal, giving the streaming service a foothold in the type of content that has proved powerful for competitors like YouTube and TikTok. Sora users will be able to start generating videos with Disney characters like Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, Yoda, and even Darth Vader, as you see in these pictures overall. So this has caused a lot of controversy, Michael. Some of the board members from the Animation Guild have responded to this, saying that this is terrible and that none of the designers are going to get a dime from this. Yes, the likenesses are not being used, the voices are not being used, but the designers are not getting paid either. So there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of back and forth about this situation. What are your thoughts on it, Michael, overall on this deal?
It's tough because look, there's an argument to be made that all of this is bad, that we shouldn't even touch AI. But the fact is, you can scroll through Twitter and people are touching AI.
Yeah.
Like, it exists. Like, this is what we're dealing with right now with AI is why the myth of Pandora's box exists. The whole point is once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it again. So what's interesting here is like, yes, we can all sit here and say no studio should engage with AI in any way, and all of them should sue anyone who uses the likeness, and we should just like push AI back and say it's illegal and nobody can do it. And that's an easy argument to make, and there's a lot of validity to all of the reasons that people have for that. Like everything you just said about artists not getting paid for their work, taking jobs away from art, like that's all 100% true. And it doesn't change the fact that AI is here. Yeah. We are using it. We talked about this on text when the article dropped, and Johnny, you said, I don't want AI in my Marvel movies. And we were chatting about it. And I was like, look, every animation studio that's out there right now and every visual effects house that's out there right now is experimenting with AI on some level.
It's true.
Figuring out whether not saying they're going to say, hey, let's just say, hey, give me a storm. And then a storm happens, but using AI in the production process of special effects and animation to try and like make this part go faster or make this part go faster. So AI is becoming a part of the way art is made, whether we want to or not. And that sucks a lot for a lot of people, but I don't know, there's no way around it. So what Disney's doing here is interesting, is like, how do we engage with AI in a way that we feel is responsible, and see how it goes? And do I think it's the best idea? No, but I also understand why they're trying to do it. And I do think it's an interesting way to go about it, which is we're not touching voices. We're not touching actor likenesses. Like, you can't take Chris Evans, Captain America, and put him in Sora, but you can take animated and illustrated versions of these characters, and you can take characters from our animation library, and you can use these. And then we can take those videos that are good and put them on Disney Plus and give them an outlet. And we're also going to use OpenAI in the studio and figure out ways that we can make things work faster as a company. And you're like, that, sure? Like, it's sort of like, this feels okay. Like, I was talking to somebody else about it, and you're like, even if you feel like all of that is kind of, okay, that all seems legit, which we could argue whether it is or not, it is the first domino.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that might be okay, but what is it opening the floodgates to? But I also don't know how you avoid it. The floodgates are here.
That's the thing that's interesting about it, Shannon. Yeah, it seems like Iger, although, I mean, to be honest, Sora is like kind of declining. Like, when it first came out, a lot of people had it, they were using it, but it's on the decline now if you look at the amount of downloads and the amount of usage of the Sora videos that have popped up. But this is also happening, Shannon, right as Disney is suing Google with a cease and desist letter because their OpenAI is using likenesses of Disney characters without their permission. So they're trying to take control maybe of this market as much as possible as they can and get ahead of it by investing in it. And of course, there's going to be no sex, no drugs, nothing untoward, no alcohol, no interactions with characters owned by other media companies. There are restrictions for this, but what are your thoughts on this, Shannon? I know you're not necessarily the biggest fan of AI. You're a working actor, and this is something that's legitimately on the and a working writer, right? Along with Michael's, is something legitimately that is starting to encroach on all areas of entertainment. Do you buy this stuff? And do you think the likenesses, is that a cop-out? Because like, just because it isn't Rob Williams' voice, it doesn't mean you can't put an AI voice that's close to Rob Williams, but not Rob Williams, still invoke the likenesses without having to pay them. So what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, mainly I think of the artists. I think of the artists who have designed certain characters and how they are not going to be seeing any kickback from this. And I think that's really the real shame of it all. And in terms of like, you know, Vogel talking about Chris Evans as Cap, I mean, you can't do that right now. But at some point, you know, you've already had actors license their likenesses, certain actors license their likenesses to certain AI firms, and it's
Shannon,
only going to keep going.
Shannon, including Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, who you see in the photos. He will be available,
So, I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like when studios use new technology to accelerate the production process or hopefully to do things cheaper, the hope on the creative side is like, okay, you have now solved $100 problem for $50. So now you got to spare $50 to go invest in another production. That's not always what happens. Like that $50 goes into the stockholders' pockets. And I think that's kind of the thing that is the real shame of it. A lot of ways that they are able to streamline certain productions. It doesn't always mean that another production is going to see the benefits of that. So yeah, I mean, it once a technology is unlocked, it doesn't go back into the closet. I mean, like it's out there. And so you can put up all the guardrails you want, but everything ends up being flexible in the end.
And I think that's where Disney's making a choice. And the choice is we've got to grapple with this. So this is our first step into the ring. And to your point, okay, we're going to sue these people for our likeness, but we're letting you use these characters. And I think, then it turns into, look, to your point, if I'm using these Disney characters on Sora, and I know that if I make it good, it can go on Disney Plus and everybody can see my work, then maybe I am inclined not to do the carbon copy of Robin Williams' voice because I know they're going to not, like, that's not going to make it onto, like, there is a carrot here, which is use our stuff responsibly in a very creative way and don't do the shitty stuff. And you get an outlet. You get to be on one of the top streamers and your stuff is going to be there. Maybe that is enough of an incentive to avoid going down those bad roads. Maybe it's not. Like, but like, I mean, I'll just tell you from personal experience, because it's so funny. Everybody's like, AI is bad. Like, this is bad for the entertainment industry. It's bad for creatives. But I have had top character designers text me and be like, "Can I show you something? I was using, I was using ChatGPT, I was using Sora. I was using this. Look what I did with this."
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Don't tell anybody. If you tell anybody that I did this," like, nobody wants to admit it, but writers are using ChatGPT to to do research for a project. Animators, I was like working with an animation studio and I was like, well, how are we going to do this without doing this and this and this? And they're like, well, this studio, we're kind of experimenting with some AI to see how we can do stuff just for concepting. But there's like, you can see the bridge or you can see the wall slowly cracking as everyone is like, well, yes, it's bad. It's horrible. But we did use it for this thing because like this actually was really useful. And I don't know where it ends, but like it's here.
Yeah, it's really interesting because right now there is a battle right now to Sora. Runway has been launched and Runway is supposed to mount a significant challenge to Sora. So it almost feels like this is old man stuff. But I mean, like, Disney is like a battleship, and to turn a battleship takes a lot of effort for everybody. And it can't turn like a smaller boat. It has to take its time to turn.
Like a dinghy.
Like a dinghy, yes, like Tommy Boy in the dinghy. It takes a little, that can go fast, but the battleship takes some time. So by the time Disney has grabbed on to Sora, here's something new that's popped up, Runway, to challenge Sora. And then you're like, well, where is this going to lead us to? And the idea that you get to be on Disney Plus, people, fuck you, I'll put it on TikTok, kiss my ass, I'll make more money doing that.
You're right. You're right.
Like, this is the carrot. I get you, Mike. You're absolutely right. The carrot is there for the people who maybe don't want to do the TikTok avenue and want to be blessed by Disney. But for most people, they're going to be like, I just put it on TikTok and make thousands of bucks doing this kind of thing. So,
but
opening the door is going to be interesting to see how people react to it and how they use it and how much Disney can corral it legally with all the cases that may pop up. Yeah.
But see, that's where like the counter to that is we're Sora. We blew up. Maybe we're not doing as good as we were originally, but we just boarded a battleship.
Good point.
And there's all these other people coming up trying to compete with us, but now we're safe on this battleship, and this battleship is going to ensure our survival.
gonna fight
because
for it.
we get to use this, we get to do this, they're funding this. And that's interesting. Even, I was watching the Disney Imagineering thing. They do these YouTube videos, and they just released that in Shanghai Disney and Disneyland Paris, where they're building the Frozen lands. They have a walk around Olaf robot, like life-size robot. It's and it uses a lot of the same technology as those droids that they built for Galaxy's Edge, but all of them are using AI. Yeah. Like they're learning bots. So it's kind of this thing that's kind of everywhere. But I do think what's interesting is everyone's like, it's either, it's gloom and doom, or it's going to revolutionize everything. And I still think something I never thought I would say, Ben Affleck is the one who still, I think, has it the most correct. Like months and months and months ago, and we talked about it when he did it, he was being interviewed for something. I forget what it was. But he was talking, they were asking him about AI, and he was like, look, I think AI is going to be fun for like stuff you can do that's like fun. Like, I want to put me and my friends in the Avengers movie, and I'm going to send it to my friends, and we're all going to be Avengers. Or I'm going to Disney's point, I'm going to take Elsa, Anna, Judy, and Nick Wilde from Zootopia, and I'm going to make them all go on an adventure together. That's cool. It's cute. It's a fun kind of distraction, but it's not the next era of storytelling.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now I do think AI has the potential to do that, but I think that's not what people are using it for right now. And as long as people are like, hey, I want to make my friends look like we're all in a Miyazaki movie, it's like, that's cool, but that's a fun distraction. Right. What's going to be interesting is to see how AI really revolutionizes the entertainment industry and storytelling. And I think that's going to be in subtle ways that aren't the every artist lost their job, the sky is falling thing that people are worried about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, human beings like convenience. AI can possibly be convenience, but it's how far are you going to go with it? That's going to be interesting to see, and how it plays itself out in the way things are changing in the entertainment sphere right now in such quick ways, that people feel a lot of the times like they're right behind this whole thing that's happening. So we will see as this goes along. Well, let's move on to something else here. Let's talk about a couple of characters returning. This was reported by Jeff over there at the Hot Mic. I know that show. He said that a well-placed source is telling him, this is a rumor now, that Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson are expected to reprise their beloved roles in the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. It's unclear whether they've already shot their new scene together, but if not, there's still plenty of time for Lionsgate to film it, as the prequel doesn't hit theaters until November 20th of 2026. So, Shannon, does this make sense to you? Do you like the idea? Jennifer Lawrence not had a lot of hits recently. Josh Hutcherson certainly had a nice hit with Freddy's 2, which overperformed by like 10 to 15, $20 million. Pretty amazing opening weekend. So your thoughts on this? Does it make sense? Do you like this? What do you think?
Well, I mean, not being that ensconced in like the Hunger Games and, everything like the prequels that are now coming out. I mean, if it makes sense and you can get them, yeah, sure. Why not use them? But I do think it's interesting what you had said about Jennifer Lawrence not being the hit maker that she once was. And I do think less so for Josh Hutcherson. Because outside of Five Nights at Freddy's, and he had like a Hulu series, like he's been working consistently, but it did not catapult him to superstardom the way it did Jennifer Lawrence. So I do think it's interesting that she's kind of going back to the well for this one. But at the same time, I mean, maybe she does have a deep affection for what that series provided her. So maybe this is more loyalty than anything, because I do think it's Francis Lawrence directing again, right? Yeah. And he directed like the last few of the movies that they were in. So yeah, I mean, again, like I think if you have the opportunity and it doesn't just feel like fan service for a property that I have nothing invested in, like if it makes sense, like yeah, why not get all the juice out of that squeeze that you can?
Yeah, and Michael, apparently there's scenes in the book with these two flash forwards or whatever, so it makes sense to include them. Are you surprised that Jennifer Lawrence would open the door to walk back this? Because it seemed like she'd walked away from her franchises, Hunger Games, X-Men, kind of want to do independent stuff, but yeah, it hasn't really worked out for her financially, and she seems to have changed her tune lately in the Die My Love junkets. she seems a little more like, kind of circumspect and reflective and a little more mature in how she's approaching things now. So are you cool with this? And Josh Hutcherson coming back, who of course is in I Love LA right now. He's not even the star of that show. That shows you where he's at acting wise. Consistently works, but never hit the heights of Jennifer Lawrence. So are you surprised that they're both coming back?
No, I mean, look, it's interesting that the news came out now. Like the trailer came out months ago, and it was right. And this feels like, to your point, it was in the book. It feels like the movie could have existed with or without it. Sure. So it's one of those things where it's not that they were needed. Like if they were needed, if you couldn't do this story without them, then you're like, okay, well, we backed up the money truck. This kind of feels like it's somewhere in the middle, to your guys' point, like, hey, we could do this without them, but, and I mean, we'll see when we see the movie. Maybe we'll see the movie and be like, no, they absolutely needed that scene. But it's like, we could do this without them, but this would be cool. And then it was like, we're going to pay you a lot, but we're not going to like dump the entire truck on you. And they were like, well, we're not doing a lot right now. How big is the truck? And you're like, I mean, it's a decent sized truck. It's not the Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom truck. And they're like, cool. But like, is it like a medium truck? And they're like, yeah, it's a good sized truck. And they're like, okay. Like I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think J-Law is a fantastic actress. I really do. I think she got caught up in the she's in everything kind of thing like Pedro is dealing with now. And so people were kind of done. And she even says like she's felt that energy. So she took a break herself from it all. But she hasn't been able to find the rhythm since she came back, right? Yeah. I mean, she was like the top star. She was an A-list top. You could sell a movie off Jennifer Lawrence. Now it's not quite the case. So I wonder if maybe open the door to this, we may get a Katniss Everdeen movie down the road from her with Hutcherson, like a little bit older, maybe an original story, or if this is her way of just saying goodbye to the franchise by coming in to do one scene, kind of like Keira Knightley did in that Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Pirates 5.
Yeah, Pirates 5 with her and Orlando Bloom in that one scene. Yeah.
I do. It's funny because like when I've not read the book, kind of to Shannon's point, I think I'm a little bit more intrigued by the franchise and just how it's going to do than Shannon is. But much like Shannon, I kind of like tapped out after the Mockingjay movies. But when I read the news, before I knew that there was this scene in the book that was a flash forward, I was like, oh, if you're really committed to the Hunger Games as a movie franchise, as IP, do you do this, even though there's no book that is that like, what is the sequel to Mockingjay?
Right.
Is there another story with them as older people? Like what happens post them destroying the Hunger Games and everything else? Is there another story? And are you bringing them in now to set the stage for if this does really well, then we're going to do this. But I don't know. I don't know that this franchise has that much juice left in it. But like we said when we reviewed the trailer, I was kind of tapped out on the franchise completely. And this trailer something about the trailer really got me. I was like, oh, I'm kind of back in. I'm intrigued by this. So we'll see. Yeah.
And Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes did really well. So, there is still juice in that franchise. And this one comes out on November 20th of next year. So we'll see what that end result is when it gets up on the screen. So, all right, let's move on to our last topic, and let's get into this one here. Rumors popped up last night. Once again, Snyder here talking about this rumor that's been coursing through some of the scoop people in the behind the scenes in Hollywood and LA that Brad Pitt is possibly involved in the Batman Part 2. Now, it doesn't mean that this is more of a rumor, but Pitt has a very good relationship with WB, has produced several projects with Robert Pattinson. So a lot of people thinking there might be something to this. Could he play Tommy Elliott? Could he be playing Harvey Dent? Could he be playing Vandal Savage of all people? Who knows? All these possibilities here. And of course, you add Scarlett Johansson being a part of this. So let's deal with this section of the rumor. Shannon, do you buy this? Do you not buy this? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't see any reason not to buy it, to have him playing a role in the Batman Part 2. I mean, in terms of who he plays, that becomes the bigger question. Like, I don't think he's Tommy Elliott, because Tommy and Bruce are supposed to kind of be contemporaries. And he's got about 20 years on Robert Pattinson. I know that a rumor had popped up that he was supposed to maybe be Amadeus Arkham. And,
yes, right.
And it's like, okay, if Scarlett Johansson is Andrea Beaumont, or if she is somehow associated with the Court of Owls, is there a thing? Like you start to put all this, red string around the room of your mind, trying to see how everything kind of connects. But just in terms of the talent that Matt Reeves attracts to his movies, and that this is, sequel to a very anticipated sequel. I think it totally makes sense that Brad Pitt would finally dip his toe further into the superhero pool, because Deadpool 2 doesn't really count.
Yeah, no. That's fair. Michael, what are your thoughts on this? Because I also said last night, I mean, if it's a grounded universe, he could play Mr. Freeze, right? He could play the guy who's lost his wife and wants to keep her alive, and he's tortured by it. Pitt could play that if you want to do a more realistic approach to it.
Look, you could, yeah, sure. He could be Killer Croc. Like we can just throw everything out there.
Joker,
like, sure. He's the Clock King. Yeah, man. Brad Pitt's the Clock King. Yeah, he's Condiment Man. Like you can just literally throw. It's the grounded version of the Condiment King. My vote is probably Amadeus Arkham.
Yeah.
Or somebody or a Hugo Strange type of character that is at like I do think that again, just going back to Matt Reeves' vibe in general is I don't think he's that interested in doing a grounded version of Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's like, let me do the grounded Two-Face, maybe Two-Face, but like I think that looking at the Batman and looking at the history of the Waynes and the corruption of Gotham, and Martha Wayne spent time in Arkham, and that was a big issue. And in the same way that with Scarlett Johansson, we were like, yeah, could she be Poison Ivy? She'd be a great Poison Ivy. Is it Andrea Beaumont? More likely? Yeah, or someone like that. I think like someone who's tied to Arkham, maybe Tommy Elliott. Like maybe if we're going to go down that road, but more than kind of thinking about who he's going to play, what really struck me is combined with the Scarlett Johansson news, like these are two actors that upset the balance of any ensemble that they're in. Like not in a bad way necessarily, because I think Matt Reeves has a good handle on it. So I actually trust him to do it in the right way. But like when you look at the cast of the Batman, Jeffrey Wright, Paul Dano, like Robert Pattinson, like none of them are superstars. Colin Farrell is like the biggest kind of superstar, but he was covered in so much makeup. These you put Brad Pitt and Scarlett Johansson in a movie and they're not bit roles.
Right. No,
like they absorb a lot of the energy of the movie that they're in just by the nature of being who they are. And so the two of them in a movie together, what that is and how that ties into the Bruce Wayne. Because Matt Reeves has said very publicly, like he wants this to still be very Bruce Wayne centric. Like that's really important to him. And so when you take actors that are so big, it's not like it's what happened in the old days. Like with Batman Forever, you put Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones as your bad guys and Val Kilmer like disappears a little bit because they're both so big. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the balance of all of this is.
What's a powerhouse cast if it's true? Brad Pitt, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Pattinson. Don't forget Colin Farrell coming back as the Penguin as well. So that's like four really strong actors who've delivered interesting, layered, complex performances in the past in different movies. So you're bringing really strong actors to bear here in this movie. Is there enough screen time? Is there enough space for them? Michael, you make an excellent point. Is there an imbalance here? That's going to be interesting to see how they write these characters and how they make these things work, if it's true. It's just a rumor right now, but I would love to see it. And I think if you're going to get Brad Pitt into a superhero movie, this is the kind of superhero movie that you can get Brad Pitt into, right? I don't think even DiCaprio, even though he said he's never going to be in one, this is the kind of thing you could entice DiCaprio with. And Brad Pitt kind of comes from that school. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's true.
Also, like, not for nothing, even though movie has taken forever, and we're like, when are we getting this movie? A movie with all of the star power that you just listed out. If Matt Reeves comes out and he nails this story and just knocks it out of the park, I don't know what James Gunn and Peter Safran can do. It is just like I do think there is this friendly or not so friendly competition going on that if Matt Reeves comes out and Batman 2, we all go, oh, we waited that long and it was kind of like whatever, but it was fine, but it didn't really. Then it sets the stage for, okay, I'm ready for a new Batman. If this is like in the same way that The Dark Knight took what happened in Batman Begins and just ran with it, if this is Matt Reeves' The Dark Knight, I think that Warner Brothers or Netflix or David Ellison or Donald Trump or whoever's going to be running things is going to go, yeah, no, just keep doing that. Just keep doing those. We're not doing this other thing.
James Gunn, you're fired. You're fired. Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. Before we leave the Batman Part 2, though, some other rumor popped up here. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this as well. I'm getting this from comicbookmovie.com. Batman Part 2 recently cast Avengers Endgame Scarlett Johansson mystery role. Today, World of Real, Jordan Ruby over there at World of Real, is reporting that filmmaker Matt Reeves is looking to cast two middle-aged male roles, both of whom were described as antagonists. And the site has also backed up rumors that Brad Pitt is being sought. Now, Reeves is clearly looking to cast the big names in the Batman sequel. So what do you guys think of this? Who could this be? Who have we just called one of them with Brad Pitt? Is there another possible person we're looking at here, Michael? What are your thoughts on this?
The Elliots and the Waynes, Tommy Elliott, Amadeus Arkham, Andrea Beaumont, or an Andrea Beaumont-like character.
Yes.
There's a Talon-like character, like a bat, like an owl, assassin of the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild. This movie comes out and like, there's no owls in it at all. It's not Court of Owls. Like we were all just completely off the entire time. Like all we talk about is the Court of Owls and we're just wrong. But I think that,
hold on, Mike. Remember the initial people said the rumors was that it was Mr. Freeze, that it was going to set in the winter, that snow was involved in all of this. So is that now out of the equation? I don't know.
The winter of my discontent. Everybody freeze. Chill out. Just bring Arnold back.
I put him on ice. Yeah.
By the way, the best actor turn in history would be you get Arnie at his age to come in and he does Mr. Freeze again, but he delivers an Oscar caliber, like blows us all. Like what he did before, the camp of it all, he's like, I didn't want to do that. And he gets a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his role as Victor Freeze. That would be the turn of the century.
Hey, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Who saw Dwayne Johnson possibly get an Oscar nomination? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Michael, so Shannon, your thoughts on this? Do you buy 240-something antagonists in this movie? I mean, we just talked about Brad Pitt. It was a little bit older than 40-something, but your thoughts on who this could be, what they might be exploring here? Do you buy it?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, but I think we're also sort of presuming like, oh, it's an antagonist. That means it's going to be a villain. It could be Harvey Bullock. Like it could be, it could be any number of dirty cops.
Yeah.
Who work for the GCPD. Are you involved with this? There are some openings in the Gotham City Police Department right now.
Involved with this? It's the best line in that movie. Thanks to you fuckers, I can't watch the movie. Every time he says, I like burst into I'm like into the movie. I'm super into it. That line comes along, and I'm just gut laughing.
It's him, and it's the other cop who was in Our Flag Means Death. You son of a bitch. That's super airy.
Oh, Gordon, you son of a bitch. But Shannon does make a good point. I mean, this is something that we all do a lot, particularly with superhero movies. You're like, oh, so-and-so's been cast, and you roll out the entire rogues gallery, and you're like, yeah, like the GCPD is kind of been cleaned out. And if part of the movie is Gordon's rise, there's might be a Gordon antagonist that is going to be a part of this story. But I do think, I mean, you know, I like the whole Court of Owls thing. I think it may not be true at all, but because Matt Reeves clearly is so interested in the corruption of Gotham, that a huge part of the Batman storyline that then flowed right into a lot of the storyline of the Penguin is that Thomas Wayne's fund, whatever the fund was called, I can't remember it right now, that was supposed to do so much good, got used to just launder money for all the dirty cops and Falcone. Like that's a huge part of the story. So I think that tying into the corrupt, the rich, we need to control that, it kind of leads towards Court of Owls. And because the Elliott family was mentioned pretty prominently in the backstory that we got from Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne, you know, I think that's where I just keep kind of coming back to those stories being where Matt Reeves is going to pull from.
All right. Yeah. I like the idea that we're getting more and more excited and we're getting these rumors popping up more and more. And we'll see once these things get locked down, because Scarlet was a very big story for the Batman Part 2. So who else is going to be announced soon? We will see, because this thing starts shooting early next year, right in the middle of the year next year, at the same time as Man of Tomorrow. So that's a curious thing to have both of them shooting at the same time. We will see what the end result is. All right. Well, that's our episode of the Geek Buddies. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Shannon, what do we have to tell the fine folks who are listening or watching us right now?
Yeah, if you'd like to follow us on social media, on Twitter, it's at @geek_buddies. On Instagram, at @the_geek_buddies. If you'd like to follow me on social media, on Twitter, it's at @Shannon_McClung. On Instagram, at Shannon the Geek Buddy. If you'd like to follow Mr. Vogel, it is at MKToon. If you'd like to follow Mr. Rocha, it is at The Rocha Says.
Go ahead and smash that like button below. Subscribe to Johnny's Outlaw Nation channel. Nope, do not subscribe to that. Just subscribe to Johnny's John Rocha channel. Check out all the amazing content that he's got there. Leave your comments below. What do you think of the Street Fighter trailer? What do you think of the Green Lanterns trailer? What do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Part 4? Let us know below in the chat. If you are listening to us on a podcast, leave us some stars and comments so we go up in the rankings and more people can find us. And as always, the best thing you can do is retweet this video, post it on your social, send it to your friends, and tell them to hang out with your buddies, the Geek Buddies.
There you go. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Go see a movie. There's a lot of good stuff out there, or watch an animated show, maybe done by these two gentlemen. Enjoy yourselves this weekend.
Maybe you go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, Johnny.
Yeah, maybe I will. We'll see.
That's my birthday wish. That's all I want. That's all I want for my birthday is for you to start watching Avatar.
We should say that is your birthday tomorrow, or when's a couple more days? When's your birthday?
My birthday party is tomorrow. Yes, I don't know that either of my buddies will be in attendance.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm a 2-hour ride. This guy's a 30-minute ride. There's a difference.
It's not the drive that would keep me from attending.
But my birthday is on
Monday. There you go. So make sure you, and of course we'll do a post as well, but make sure you wish Mike happy birthday on Monday. All right. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the
Geek
Buddies.
Hey.